Chapter 6.2 Solving Quadratic Equations by the square root method. So this solving here hinges on the property that if x squared is set equal to some expression u, then x is equal to plus or minus the square root of u. If x squared is set equal to 36, then x is equal to plus or minus the square root of 36. In other words, plus or minus 6, x is equal to 6, and negative 6. If x squared minus 81 is set equal to 0, x squared is set equal to 81, so x is equal to plus or minus the square root of 81 plus or minus 9. X is equal to negative 9 and positive 9. If x squared is equal to 64, x is equal to plus or minus the square root of 64, which is equal to plus or minus 8. X is equal to negative 8 or positive 8 and positive 8. If x squared is equal to 200, x is equal to plus or minus the square root of 200. We have to simplify the radicals, so this is 2 times 100. So this is plus or minus the square root of 100 is 10 square root 2. So two solutions, 10 square root 2 and negative 10 square root 2. If you've got, say, x squared is equal to negative 49, so now we know about complex numbers or imaginary numbers. So x is equal to plus or minus the square root of negative 49. At this point, this has no real solutions. However, we can find the complex solutions. So remember how we do that. We plus or minus I square root 49, which is equal to plus or minus 7i. So the two solutions here would be x is equal to 7i and negative 7i. Now, if the problem asks you to state whether there's real solutions, you would say there's no real solutions. If it asks you for enter the answer in the complex form, then you would go ahead and do just that, enter the answer in the complex form. So just be aware of what you're doing with this, okay? If I have, say, 6x squared is equal to 96, Then I would divide both sides by 6 to give x squared is equal to 16. X is equal to plus or minus the square root of 16, which is equal to plus or minus 4. So x is equal to negative 4 and positive 4. Now, we want to extend this further. So if I've got, say, x minus 5 squared equals to 36, that u is now equal to x minus 5. So the square root property continues to work. X minus 5 is equal to plus or minus the square root of 36. Then we can see that this is x minus 5 equals to plus or minus 6. And then you want to go ahead and add 5 to both sides. So that gives x 5 plus or minus 6 is x is equal to 5 plus or minus 6. So we've got two solutions. X is equal to 5 plus 6, which is 11. And x is equal to 5 minus 6, which is negative 1. X plus 1 squared equals to 49. So x plus 1 is equal to plus or minus the square root of 49. So x plus 1 is equal to plus or minus 7. Then we would go ahead and take away 1 from each side. So x is equal to negative 1 plus or minus 7. Giving us, again, two solutions, negative 1 plus 7 and negative 1 minus 7. X is equal to 6. And x is equal to negative 8. X plus 6 squared is equal to 147. So going through the process here, x plus 6 is equal to the plus or minus the square root of 147. X plus 6 is equal to plus or minus 147 is 3 times 49. So square root of 49 is 7, 7 square root 3. Then we want to go ahead and take away 6 from both sides. X is equal to negative 6 plus or minus 7 square root 3. So two solutions, negative 6 plus 7 square root 3 and negative 6 minus 7 square root 3. X plus 7 squared equals to 57. X plus 7 is equal to plus or minus the square root of 57. Take away 7 from both sides. we've got x is equal to negative 7 plus or minus square root of 57. Square root of 57 cannot, that radical cannot be simplified, so x is equal to negative 7 plus square root 57 and negative 7 minus square root of 57. One last example. So I've got 6x squared minus 9 is equal to 285. So I would go ahead and add 9 to both sides. That gives me 6x squared is equal to 294. Then I would divide both sides by 6 to give x squared is equal to 49. X is equal to plus or minus the square root of 49. This is equal to plus or minus 7. X is equal to negative 7 and positive 7. Let me just take a quick check here to see if there's anything I need to tell you about here. Okay.